So it is indeed a schus and a privilege to be together with you this evening. I would very much prefer, as in the many times I visited the community in London, I would very much prefer to meet you b'bote knesias and b'bote midrashos, to feel the warmth, to see your faces. But this is the challenge of this unprecedented time. We've lacked the shuls, we lack the bote midrashos, the yeshivas are closed. So the only way we have to teach, to guide, to be marbitz Torah, and to bring people together is harnessing and taking advantage of modern technology. And we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for that. So it's a schus and a privilege to me to address Torah Yiddishkeit in the United Kingdom. Tonight is a very special night. It's Lag BaOmer. In Eretz Yisrael, Lag BaOmer is a very special day. Hundreds of thousands of people come together every year in Miran, Behilila, the Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. It is by far the greatest gathering in Eretz Yisrael. I assume Reb Shimon will be somewhat lonely tonight. He probably will miss the hundreds and thousands that every year come together lechvoidai. So just a short while ago, we have a background minyan where I live, right here. So this is the Kehillah of Rehov Kagan. 6 backyards, we all see each other. So tonight, in a little pan, I lit a hadlaka, and all the neighbors together, we sang Bayachoi. It's not the same, but nevertheless, we did rejoice. It's Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer is a magical day. Bechlal Lag BaOmer, the simcha of Lag BaOmer, it's not easy to understand. So many sources say that this is the Yom de Hilula of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, and in this day, Olo Besara Hashamayma. The Chassam Sofer, in a very well-known shuv in Yoredeis in Reish Lamed Gimel, the Chassam Sofer writes, I don't understand the simcha. Kosher silukin shel tzadikim kisreifas beis Elokeinu. If I would be there, I would not participate. I would not take part of that simcha. That's what the Chassam Sofer writes. The Shoyla Meshav and Chelek Hey goes to a greater extreme. And he says, I'm sure that in the days of the Beis Yosef and in the Arni, they didn't rejoice. They did. Neither the Chassam Sofer was aware, nor the Shoyla Meshav. But Shara Kavonis Drush Yud Beis of Chaim Vital describes, yes, in the days of the Ari, and that he actually did participate. And he writes a frightening story about Reb Shimon Bar Yochai coming to the Ari HaKodesh B'Chaloim and complaining on one of the tzaddikim that said, Nachem b'yoim simchosi. So yes, it is a day to rejoice, but why? Why? So many Sforim maintain it is the day in which Reb Shimon Bar Yochai Olo B'Saro Hashamayma. But the Shulchan Aruch has a different interpretation. Tov Tzadik Gimel Siv Beis, the Beis Yosef and Shulchan Aruch writes that there are no minhagei avelos al Lag BaOmer she'omrim she'oz posku melamus, and that day the plague was over, and the tragedy of 24,000 Talmidim of Rebbe Kiva that perished bein Pesach Latzeres as the Gemara vividly describes in Yavamis Daf Samach Beis Amid Beis. So the Shulchan Aruch says, Oimrim, they say, She'az Pasku Melamos, and that is the Simcha of Lag Ba'omer. So why was the plague over Lag Ba'omer? Do we have an explanation? Why on this very special day was the plague over? I think I have an idea, but let's wait till the second part of tonight's shir. But just if we're speaking about Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, he was 12 years in the Mara, 12 years that he didn't daven with a minyan. Come to think of it, because he didn't want to put his life in jeopardy. He didn't sneak out to a neighbor's backyard, and he didn't secretly bring a minyan of his Talmidim to the cave to have a minyan. 12 years that he davened b'yachidus, 12 years, because his life was in danger. And finally, when he leaves the Mara, and one of the consequences of his leaving the Mara, a person died. He went back for another 12 months. So all of us, the hundreds, the thousands, the tens of thousands, that for the past month and a half or so are davening b'yachidus, Tanuach da'atchem, Tanuach da'atchem, that is our chiyuv. V'nishmartem ma'od lenafsheisech. And it is Chazal that teach us, Chamira sekanta mi'isur. Pikuach nefesh overrides Shabbos, overrides Yom Kippur. Those are chiyuvei koros. Pikuach nefesh overrides Tefillah b'tzibur. And we lift our eyes to the heavens and we say, Rabbeinu Shalom. Rabbeinu Shalom. We long to daven with tzibur. We miss the yeshivas, we miss the koilolim, we miss our shiurim, we miss coming together. This is Mesirus Nefesh. And for whom do we do this all? For you, for deine Kinderlach. Habeit mishamayim ure'ei. A story I have related many times. My late father, Zechet Tzaddik Levrocha, first met my great Rebbe, Kvoid Kedushas, Hagoen HaTzadik Yesadoylem the Divrei Yatza, the Kloisenberg Rebbe. It was the second day Shavuos, Tovshin Daled in Auschwitz and Birkenau. So I won't tell the story once again. But after the war was over, the Kloisenberg Rebbe, that giant, called my father and he said, I want you to help me work for Klal Yisrael. We have so much to do. And my father told the Kloisenberg Rebbe, I want to learn. I'm 18 years old. My father was a tremendous Ilui. Maybe some of you knew my father personally. I'm sure many of you did. So my father told the Rebbe, I want to go back to yeshiva. He was a real Ilui. And the Kloisenberg Rebbe tells my father, you know nothing about Mesirus Nefesh. When one deprives himself from food, from drinks, he deprives himself of comfort, of pleasure. That's not Mesirus Nefesh. That's Mesirus Guf, is giving your body away for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mesirus Nefesh is closing your Gemara for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's Mesirus Nefesh. And you know nothing about Mesirus Nefesh. Wow. That was a very powerful statement. And my father closed his Gemara. And he stood liyaminai of that great Goen and Tzaddik to work for Klal Yisrael. Rabbeinu Shalom, we closed our Gemaras for you. We closed our shuls. We closed the yeshivas. That is Mesirus Nefesh. So Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan was the last time I visited my shul. We fasted, we leined Vayachal, we said Yom Kippur Kotten, and I addressed the people. There were 10 people in the shul, not more. Those were the regulations in those days. And I said, it's hard to say goodbye to a shul in which for the past 23 years, I have been marbetz Torah to Alofim and Ravavis. Not one day passed in which I wasn't marbetz Torah. And I closed the shul, as I said, B'Loshen HaKodesh, Belev Kaved, however, Belev Shalem. There was no doubt in my mind that is what we needed to do. So this is Mesirus Nefesh on the part of Klal Yisrael, on the part of Torah Jewry. It's tragic to close yeshivas and shuls. But beyond doubt, yes, Belev Shalem, this is what we needed to do. And this is what we still need to do. Time has not yet come for us to open the shuls and open the yeshivas and embrace and come together and teach Torah in the same way we've been doing for thousands of years. But this is a different time. This is a pandemic. So I would just briefly like to once again go over what I said many times. So in these few weeks, as my dear friend Hagon Rav Simons mentioned, I wrote many tshuvas and given many shiurim, discussing the various relevant halachic issues that this pandemic has brought up. But I have given many shiurim just trying to convey the message that b'shas mageifa, isolation, is what Chazal taught us. It's not a modern idea. In Bava Kamed of Samach Omid Beis, the Gemara says, Dever be'ir kaneis raglecha. Va'atem al teitzu ish me Pesach beisoy. And then Chazal go on to quote the Posuk in Yeshayahu Chavav. Leich ami boi b'chadorecha. Uzgorod lo secho ba'adecha. And the Marsha on the spot, and Bava Kamed of Samach says, Kaneis reglecha. Ein hakavona. Don't go far away, don't take trips, don't tour the land. Kaneis reglecha. Al yetze ish me Pesach beisai. Go into your private rooms and don't forget to lock the door. So I know that many Lamdonim have been asking, but the chances of being infected are quite slim, and some Rabbonim and some Talmidei Chachomim dealt with statistics. In a time of epidemic, statistics are not relevant. So that very same Gemara in Bava Kamed of Samach Omid Beis, the Gemara says, Dever be'ir al yahalach odem be'emtza haderech. Mipnei shemalach hamoves mahalach be'emtza haderech. When there is a pandemic, go on the side of the road, the side of the street. Shalom be'ir al yahalach b'tzidei hadrochim be'emtza haderech. So obviously, in Pashtus, this is mysticism. We don't understand what it means. The Malach HaMoves goes on the side of the road, he goes in the middle of the road. Chuvas HaRashbash takes us back 600 years. the Rashbash was a son of the Tashbetz. And the Rashbash offers a very practical interpretation al pi pshat. The Rashbash says, Sholem be'ir, yahalach odem be'emtza derech. Emtza derech means derech ha'mimutzat, in middle of the road. And the Rambam many times in his writings in Hilchos Deis says that the recommended way is derech ha'mimutzas, keep away from the extremes. Dever be'ir, al yahalach be'emtza haderech. In a time of pandemic, we do need to be extreme. And we need to be extreme and take extreme measures to prevent the spread of disease. And that is the pshat of the Rashbash and the Gemara, al yahalach be'emtza haderech elo b'tzidei hadrochi. Even by halachic definition, I think a year and a half ago I was in London and I gave a big shiur about vaccination. So my firm halachic opinion is that in a time in which there is a danger to the broad public, numbers lose their significance. L'chorev is a stira in Mogen Avram in Hilchos Shabbos. Shinta Zayin Sif Kotten Chav Gimel. The Mogen Avram deals with the question, is it permissible to kill a spider on Shabbos? For some reason, people were always afraid of spiders. So the Mogen Avram says killing a spider on Shabbos is definitely prohibited. There is no heter. Because what is the sakana? The only sakana would be if that spider falls into your soup or into your food and you won't notice and you will swallow it. So that is a sakana echod mi'elef. Echod mi'elef is not defined as a sakana to be considered pikuach nefesh, to be doiches Shabbos. Is that so? So the Mogen Avram says 1 out of 1,000 is not defined as pikuach nefesh. There's another Mogen Avram Shin Lamed Siv Kotten Gimel, in which the Mogen Avram quotes the famous Maggid Mishnah Perik Beis in the Hilchos Shabbos. The Maggid Mishnah explains the Rambam, and the Rambam is actually a sugya in Masechet Shabbos. A yoledes is defined as a chodesh yesh b'skona, and we are mechal Shabbos to tend to all the needs of a woman during, before, and right after childbirth, and that is a chodesh yesh b'skona. However, contrary to other chodesh yesh b'skona, by yoledes we need to do a shinui. And the Maggid Mishnah explains, why do we need to do a shinui? According to the Rambam, a shinui is not necessitated. It's not necessary to be any other chodesh yesh b'sakana. The Maggid Mishnah says because childbirth is a natural process. It's part of our routine. It's part of life. And ishu achas me'elaf eino meiso. It's very remote to sakana. Even 1 out of 1,000 doesn't die, and therefore, midrabanan, we need to do a shinui. And the Mogen Avram quotes the Maggid Mishnah in Shin Lamed Sif Kotten Gimel. So obviously, we have a steer in the Mogen Avram. Shin Tes Zayin, killing a spider, the Mogen Avram says it's a very remote sakana, 1 out of 1,000. That's not pikuach nefesh. Shin Lamed Mogen Avram quotes the Maggid Mishnah. A yoledes is even less than 1 in 1,000, and therefore we need a shinui. But the shinui is only midrabanan, and if we can't do a shinui, then we're mechal Shabbos without a shinui. How do we reconcile what seems to be a clear contradiction in the Mogen Avram? Pashut b'tachlis, very simple. So when you see a spider creeping on the floor, and you contemplate, is this a sakana or not? He might creep up the wall, he might crawl on the roof, he might lose his grip exactly when he's above your head, might fall onto your plate and you might not notice him and you might swallow, and then there might be a sakana. Maybe yes, maybe no. 1 out of 1,000, if it's coincidence, is not defined as pikuach nefesh. But women having babies is not coincidence. It is part of the healthy routine of life. And if 1 out of 1,000 might die, we need to do everything within our power to prevent that death. So the numbers are irrelevant. Let us try to imagine. Baruch Hashem, the hospital that has the most babies born in Eretz Yisrael is Shlit, where I have the privilege to be the place of the hospital, and I'm very proud of that. So let us try to imagine we are very far from those numbers. But if there would be 1,000 babies born every day in Shlit, and statistically every day we lose 1 baby, would we have a chiyuv al pitore to prevent that death? Or would we say 999 women went happily home with their babies? Ma kulehai, what are you making a fuss? That every day we're losing 1 baby. We would be machal Shabbos 1,000 times every Shabbos to save that baby, because we need to do everything to prevent that death. It's not coincidence. It's not something that might happen, might not happen. It happens once a day. And for that very same reason, I came out very strongly about vaccinations. Yes, if we wouldn't vaccinate children, children will die beyond doubt. Many more will live. That's not relevant. What is relevant is only that some will die. And that is the reason in a time of pandemic, of epidemic. How many live is not a relevant number. The relevant number is how many will die. So the Rashbash explains, yes, Al Yahalach b'yemtza haderech. When the public is in danger, and we know that people are dying and will die, that is defined as pikuach nefesh, and it is our chiyuv to prevent those deaths. So I don't have time tonight to give a very lengthy shir, but there are many sources to prove this fundamental yesod. 150 years ago, there was a big controversy in Europe. Some doctors in Vienna claimed that babies have died because of mitzitza. And Rabbi Elazar Horovitz was a Talmud of the Sefer, and he published the Tshuva of some Sefer in his Sefer Yad Eliezer Siman Nun Aleph. And there was a big controversy, and we find the Tshuva in Binyan Sion. Binyan Sion is the Orach Laner Chelak Aleph, 2 Tshuvas Chav Gimel and Chav Dalet. And the Binyan Sion argues powerfully not to be mevatel mitzitza bepeh. But on the other hand, he says, if babies might die, even if it would be echod mini revavois, 1 out of tens of thousands, then we need to do everything to save that 1. And therefore, he says, if the moyal has any infection, any disease, or he has an open wound in his mouth or on his lips, he should not do mitzitza. Someone else should do it, or he should not do the bris. But what is important is that line, echod mini revavois. It's not a spider creeping on the wall. It is phenomenon which is daily. And if we won't prevent the moyalim that are ill from doing mitzitza, then babies will die. Thousands will live. That makes no difference. Some will die. And we need to do everything to prevent their demise. So I want you all to be confident. This is exactly what we need to do al pi Torah, and there's no question about that. Yes, we lack shuls, we lack yeshivas. Many of us are davening b'yechidus, and that is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu expects us to do. That is our chiyuv. And that is what Gedolei Torah paskined throughout the ages. So this is the first pandemic we've known in hundreds of years. we've known many epidemics. An epidemic is a plague that strikes a certain geographical area. A pandemic is something which is global, like the coronavirus. So there were many cholera epidemics, and we have many documented shuvas of Gedolim. One was Tov Kuf Tzaddik Aleph in the time of Rabbi Kiva and the Sam Sofer. The other was Tov Reish Lamed Gimel in the time of the Shoel HaMeishim and the Sol Salanter. And we have shuvas, Chasam Sofer shuvas, Chelik Vov Simachov Gimel. Mitzpah Arya. Rav Aryeh Leib Broide was the Rav in Lvov in Lemberg, and he writes that he was young in Tov Reish Lamed Gimel, and he remembers there was a controversy in Vilna, and he writes that the Shoel HaMeishim gave the same psak in Lemberg in Lvov, like the Sam Sofer in Pressburg. Yom Kippur, even the people that are healthy and feeling well should eat and drink on Yom Kippur, because if they won't do so, others won't do so, and someone will die. So the heter was for the entire community. That was the psak of the Sam Sofer of the Shoel HaMeishim, of Rabbi Sol Salanter. And it is all very well known. That is the halacha in a time of epidemic, in a time of plague. So we weren't Mechanal Shabbos, we didn't eat on Yom Kippur, Baruch Hashem, but we closed the shuls. And one of the ideas I discussed, just to give chizuk for people, Shabbos Chol HaMoed Pesach, we read Shir HaShirim. And the Rambam explains Shir HaShirim, Perek Yud of Hilchos Shuvas HaMoshel, the story of the Dud and the Ra'aya, is a love story between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Knesset Yisrael. And the Seforno, in his introduction to Shir HaShirim, explains this shir is especially relevant in Golus. So the Ra'aya is desperately looking for the Daid. Has he left me? Where has he gone? Why did he leave me and I can't find him? And the Pasuk says, he did not leave you. He went nowhere. He is right here. And then she cries, so why doesn't he throw open the door? Why does he let me look for him in despair? Why doesn't he show his face? And the Daid says, Hashmi'ini es koilech, ki koilech orev. And the Sephora says, what he is asking for, Daven, I want to hear your voice. You're not crying loud enough. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mis'ava litfiloson shel tzadikim. Hashme'ini es koilech. Which one? What koil? HaKoil Yankov. And that is koil Torah and koil tefillah. But we've been davening all along. So my feeling is this. When you hear a choir sing, it's beautiful. When you hear an orchestra playing a symphony, the beauty is overwhelming. The harmony of many instruments, of many voices, each complementing the others. But when you're listening to a choir or an orchestra, you could never appreciate the beauty of the individual voice. When you're listening to an orchestra playing, you could never appreciate the Yitzchak Perlman amongst them, the artist, the sage. It is only when one sings solo or plays alone that you really appreciate the beauty of his voice and the beauty of his music. So for many years, in normal days, in normal circumstances, we sing with the choir. And the Rambam writes, Perek Ches Halacha Aleph of Hilchos Tefillah, Tfilas Atzibur La'olam Nishmas, Afal Pi Sheyesh B'hem Chatoim She'ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moyes Tfilas Harabim. It's beautiful. But right now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Hashmi'ini es koilech, lo shen yochet, ki koilech orev. I want to listen to you, each and every one of you, on his own. Ki koilech orev. Sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I have listened to the choir, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful. But for a change, Hashme'ini es koilech, ki koilech orev. And therefore, beyond any doubt, this is our mitzvah in this time. Hashme'ini es koilech. Learn more, daven better, each and every one in his private domain. I also know that some Lamdonim argue, Shoyme Pesoam Hashem. Shoyme Pesoam Hashem. We could go back to shuls. Shoyme Pesoam Hashem is found 3 times in Masechet Shabbos. Kuf Kof Tesomet Beis, the Gemara deals with bloodletting, hakozes dam. So on certain days it might be the wrong mazel, it might be dangerous. Shoyme Pesoam Hashem. I am Beizum at Beizum Masechet Shabbos. When you do Mila B'Yom HaMa'unan on a cloudy day, it might be dangerous. We're not matbid. Shomer Pesoim Hashem. So these sakonas aren't natural sakonas. This is dealing with mysticism, with Dvorim Shem Lamala Mederech HaTeva. It is only there that we say Shomer Pesoim Hashem. No. Because in Yevomis Yud Beis, we're dealing with a woman that might endanger her life with pregnancy, and we say Shomer Pesoim Hashem. That's not supernatural. That is biology. That's V'derech HaTeva. We find the same in Avodah Zorah Daf Lamed. In Avodah Zorah Daf Lamed, when a person eats Te'inim Balaylo, and there might be an Isur of Gilui, and the Gemara says Shomer Pesoim Hashem. But the most fundamental Yesod we find in Poskim is in Trumas Hadesh and Simarei Shud. And the Trumas Hadesh writes that Shomer Pesoim Hashem, we only say when the danger is not really known. But if people are aware of the danger, we no longer say Shomer Pesoim Hashem. So people are quite aware of the danger of COVID-19, of the coronavirus. Every child in the world is aware of the danger. So we no longer say Shomer Pesoim Hashem. So this is a very clear halacha. So in Israel, we have many backyard minyanim and porch minyanim, and I encourage it. Because when everybody is in his private domain, in his own backyard, we're not endangering anyone's life. And it should be encouraged, because if we could daven with minyan, why not? Don't we believe in koyach hatzibur? So I have heard that in the UK, the government right now enables backyard minyanim, and it should be encouraged. But each and every one in his private yard. People should not be coming together. And I wrote various tshuvas. And it's just so there was somewhat of a controversy, and some Sephardi Rabbonim wrote that it depends on Sfardim and Ashkenazim. Nothing to do with Sfardim and Ashkenazim. Sfardim and Ashkenazim. As long as you see each other and you hear each other, you could be mitzvah, even if everyone is in his private rishus hayochid. So I wrote many tshuvas about these topics, and any one of you that is interested in receiving whatever I wrote, you could please turn to my dear friend in London, Dr. Alicia Kayan, who is a wonderful person besides being a great doctor, and he will make all this, everything I wrote, available to you. So I do encourage backyard minyanim. And it brings somewhat of an achva v'reus as well. Suddenly you get to know your neighbors better. You daven together every morning. You see each other. You say good morning to each other. So I had an anical baby girl 2 weeks ago. So all the neighbors from their backyards threw candy into our yard. We have Kriyas HaTorah. And I and my son-in-law, who is living with me, we switch aliyahs and we do all the shivikurim, the 2 of us. So, yes, I do encourage backyard minyanim. So let's get back to Lag BaOmer. So today is a very special day. It is Lag BaOmer, and that's a day of Simcha. So the Shulchan Aruch says, what is the Simcha? She'oimrim she'oz pasku lamus. And that's a very interesting language. Oimrim. Who are the ones that say? The B'Sheisif wasn't aware of it, but the Meiri in Yavam Samech Beis writes that it's a Kabbalah min ha'ga'onim, that in this day, Pascha ha'mageifa. Why? How did that come to be? So if we want to understand what took away the plague, we first need to understand what caused the plague and how did it come to be. So in Yavam Samech Beis Amid Beis, the Gemara says, Yud Beis Elev Zugis Talmidim Hoyel Rebbe Kiva v'Kulam Meisu B'Perek Echad Mepnei Shaloi Nahagu Kavod Zeh B'Zeh. And everyone asked, is that such a horrific aveira? Is it Kodesh? Is it Misa B'Dei Shamayim? Why did 24,000 Talmidim perish? Shaloi Nahagu Kavod Zeh B'Zeh. So to me, it's a Milsa de Pshita. It is only because they were Talmidei Rebbe Kiva. And Min HaShamayim, they were asked, are you Talmidim of Rebbe Kiva? You learned nothing from your Rebbe, nothing. Where were you? When Rebbe Kiva hoyu Yoshev v'doiresh, in Yerushalmi Nedorim Daf Lamed Zeh, v'yohavto l'rechu k'moichu, Zeh klal godol b'toira. Didn't you ever hear that? And where were you when Rebbe Kiva hoyu Yoshev v'doiresh Mesechet Avos Perek Gimel Mishnah Yudaled Chavev Odom Shenivro B'Tzelem Chibi Yisera Noidas Leila Odom Shenivro B'Tzelem Elokim Chavivin Yisol Shenikro Bonim Lomokim. Doesn't it sound familiar? Did you ever hear that? And where were you when Rebbe Kiva dashed many times in Shas? First time Psochem Chov Beis, last time Pchoides Davav. Es Hashem Elokech Otiro LeRabois Talmidei Chachomim. You are Talmidei Rebbe Kiva, V'loi Nagu Kavod Zeh B'Zeh. How could that be? And it's not only Kavod, it's Ahava. It's not only Ahava, it's Kavod. So Rebbe Kiva says, V'yahavtu l'reachu k'moichu zeh kal godol b'toiro. But Yavam Samech Beis, when Chazal describe the tragedy, they do not say Mipnei Shelo Ahavu Zeh Zeh, Sheloi Nahagu Kavod Zeh B'Zeh. So the Rebbe Kiva's statement is very well known. V'yohavtu l'reachu k'moichu zeh kal godol b'toiro. What most people don't know, in that very same sugya, Yerushalmi Nedorim Daf Lamed Ben Azai disagrees. And Ben Azai says, Zeh Sefer told the Sodom Klal Godol Heimeno. There's a greater klal than V'yahavtu l'reachu k'moichu, and that is Zeh Sefer told the Sodom. And one comes to wonder, we could appreciate Rebbe Kiva's mama. Rebbe Kiva says, V'yahavtu l'reachu k'moichu. Well, what is so huge about Zeh Sefer told the Sodom? Only b'yoimeli. That's my understanding. Libyoimeli. And when my heart talks to me, I usually listen carefully. I think Rebbe Kiva and Ben Azai are discussing what is the most fundamental and basic ingredients of a Torah society, of a decent, just, Torah-oriented society. What is the basis? Rebbe Kiva says, V'yahavtu l'reachu k'moichu. Ben Azai says, no. So both in Bavli and Yerushalmi, the Gemara says Ben Azai was a Talmid Chodar of Rebbe Kiva. I wasn't there, but I could almost hear Ben Azai saying, Rebbe Kiva, Rabbi, Moreinu v'Rabbeinu, don't be angry, but I wish to defer. And it's not my Torah, it's your Torah. Zeh Sefer told us Odom, B'demus Elokim bara oisam. So Ben Azai tells Rebbe Kiva, I think there is something more fundamental and more basic and more important than love. And that is Chaviv Adam Shenivro B'Tzelem Elokim. Rebbe Kiva, that's your Torah. Learn to respect each other. And Ben Azai says, love by its very nature cannot be uniform. It is human nature. We love some people more than we love others. But we need to learn to respect even those that we do not love. And that is Chaviv Adam Shenivro B'Tzelem. Zeh Sefer told us Adam B'Dmus Elokim Bara Oisam. So Ben Azai says, what is more important is, Nahagu Kavoid Zeh B'Zeh. Rebbe Kiva says, V'yohavto l'reachu kamoicha. Zeh glodel, zeh klal glodel b'Torah. Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim chayim. Elu ve'elu Torasoi shel Rebbe Kiva. And that is why those 24,000 Talmidim perished. You are not fitting to be the Talmidim of Adam HaGodel Ba'anokim. And a Medrash Rabin Koheles, Chazal teach us in the Gemara in Yevomis, V'hoyu ho'elam shamim, ad shebu Rebbe Kiva etzel Rabu Seinu shebedorim v'shana lahem. And the Medrash in Koheles says Rebbe Kiva pleaded with his later Talmidim. He told them about the tragedy. And he said, I'm an old man. I can't survive this again. Please. Atem al tihiyu kemoisam. And in Minchas Osha Siches, Chele Gimel, I brought many memorim to prove. Rabbi Seinu Shebedorim, Rab Meir, Rab Yehuda, Rab Yosef ben Chalafta, Rab Shimon ben Yechoy, Rab Elazar ben Shamoah. Each and every one of them was a paragon and a symbol of Ahavas Re'em and Kavoid Chaverim. Rab Meir says, Kol ha'mavoreches esol kilu mavoreches eshchina. It's Reb Meir speaking, but we hear an echo of Rebbe Kiva, Chavav Adam Shenivro B'Tzelem Elokim. Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta says in Shabbos Kuf Yutes, Yodeani ba'atzmi she'eni kohenim, oimrim li chavere alei leduchan ha'isi yoilam, yoilam lo yuvarati al divrei chavere. Rabbi Yehuda says, Kol ha'makabel pnei chavere ki makabel pnei ha'shchina. Chavav Adam Shenivro B'Tzelem. Reb Shimon ben Yechoy, Af Mem Gimel and Mesechet Bava Metzia, and in Brochus as well. Noyach Lodom Shiaparis Atzmo Lekif Shenu Ish Al Yalbem Plei Chaveroi Barabim, and Rabbi Elazar ben Shamoah. La'olim Yehei Kvoi Talmid Chochav Evolecho. That's in Mesechet Avos. Those were the real Talmidim of Rebbe Kiva. So what happened on Lag BaOmer? That the plague was over. Rebbe Stone Salanter dashed into his Talmidim. There must be a connection, there must be a connection between Memtes Yemei Sviras Uoimer and Memches Voram Shatoyre Nekneis Behem. And he demanded from his Talmidim, each and every day of Svira, you got to move forward, starting from day number 1. Every day one of Kinyonei Torah. And we find the same thought in Chidush She'arim. So I don't know whether Rebbe Kiva was a chassid or not. Either he was a Baal Mussar or a chassid. Both the Chidush She'arim and Rebbe Sol Salanta say the same. I assume that the Talmidim of Rebbe Kiva did the same. So I want you to take out a Mishnayos or a Siddur and start counting. Memches Vorim Shatoyre Nikneis Behem. Number 32 is Oyeves Abriyos. Lag BaOmer, day 33, the plague was over. They learned to love each other, to respect each other. And the plague was over. So we are still in the midst of a plague, of a pandemic. And we too are looking for Sgulas. What is it that we could do in the realm of Ruchnius, besides staying at home and besides social distancing? What is it that we could do? Klape Shemaya. Is there anything more we could do to stop this death, to stop this tragedy, to stop this plague? Oyeves Abriyos. That is what stopped the Magef in the days of Rebbe Kiva. It'll work today. It always works. So we need to daven, and we need to learn more and better. Hashmeini es koilech. But we also need to be better. Bein adam l'chaveroi. Ahavas reim, kvoid chaverim. The Netziv writes in his introduction to the Hamigdavar, when he discusses the time of Churban Bayis Sheni, based on the Gemara Yomedav Tesam Bavli and Yomedav Heini Yerushalmi. There's man Bayis Sheni, and I'm quoting the Lashon of the Netziv, Hoyu tzadikim v'chasidem v'yameloi Torah, but they had sinas chinam. And they thought that anybody that has a different opinion is a tzedeki and an apikoiris, because you might have different thoughts and different opinions and different attitudes. Ve'eina kodesh bochu soivel tzadikim ke'elu. That's very harsh language. Beyond doubt, the word tzadikim. Tzadikim and chasidim and amelei Torah. That there are some tzaddikim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves more. Some tzaddikim, ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu soivel tzaddikim ka'ela. So we need to be better in Ahavas Leim and Kavod Chaverim. We need to be amongst those Talmidei Chachamim shemar bim shalom b'yolam. It's a schus and a privilege to bring people together, to be mechabed each and every Yid, to love each and every Jew. And that is a zgula, to make a plague go away. Oimrim she'oz pasku olamos. Lamed Beis, Oyev Esabrius. Lamed Gimel, the plague was over. So let's daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to take this all away, and we should be able to be korov, to throw open the doors of our shuls, of our yeshivas. Thousands, tens of thousands of Bnei Torah are longing and waiting to go back to this door, to go back to the yeshivas. But first we need to daven, and we need to do tshuva, and we need to be better. And b'siyata d'shmaya b'korah b'yameinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make this go away. V'hu rachum yechaper avain. So we should all daven, and each and every one of us, in his own way, be better, more chesed, more tshuva, more tefillah, more tzedakah. So it's been a schus to see you tonight, and it's a schus to teach, and it's a schus to bring people together. And in the koyach of Rabim, let us turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashmini es koilech. We should only know b'sayros toivos, Yeshua's v'nachamos, and b'korah b'yameinu we should be able to rejoice together with the Gans Klal Yisrael, v'biaz goyel tzedek, v'simchas oilam al reisham b'mheira v'yomeinu amen.